No. Tinubu will not like to hear this. Honestly, Senator Abaribe has made another shocking revelation that the human element is only the thing that made the APC to have been declared winner of the last election. I mean the presidential election. So in a nutshell, Senator Abaribe is saying that removing the human element, Tinubu would have failed woefully in the last election. Don't forget that even Tinubu himself acknowledges the fact that Nigerians did not vote for him. Take a look at this.
Now, at that presentation, Tinubu promised an inclusive government, and he said that he's aware that Nigerians are feeling bad and disappointed at his emergence because many of them did not vote for him. But it is what it is.
I know many did not vote for me, and you are disappointed that your candidate is not where I stand now.
So it all means that Inec was on a mission to give us a president we didn't vote for. So that is just what it implies. Honestly, let me allow you listen to what Senator Abaribe got to say. His argument is that we should have an all-electronic system when it comes to voting. No human element should be involved. Take a look at this.
I think what is going to happen is that there must be, and we will just have to amend that Electoral Act and remove the human element from it. Because all that happened was simple. In the presidential elections, somebody switched off the presidential portal, and that completely spoiled everything about the presidential elections. In the subsequent gubernatorial elections, people literally seized the ballot papers and the beavers and the final result sheets and uploaded whatever they wanted on it, which means that human element gap is what we need to clear.
Senator Abaribe,
that's all we have to do about
if I may come in here, you said something there that's quite significant. You said someone switched up the presidential portal. Do you have evidence of this? How did you know that?
Inec itself said they had a glitch. What glitch? On the same time, the same day, the same moment that the results for the senatorial and House of Rep results were also uploaded. There was no glitch on that one. So when somebody tells you that there was a glitch on the presidential portal, how could you believe such thing? They were just being very economical with the truth.
Well, this matter of removing the human element in the...
Like I said, the human element, which means something happened there. It was done deliberately. If there was a glitch, it should have happened in the senatorial and the House of Rep elections, which was taking place at the same time. So when two things are happening at the same time and all that, if something looks like a dog, quacks like a dog, what do you call it? It's a dog.
Senator Abaribe, if I may come in, and this is because we want to look towards 2024, because one would say that, the matter has been in courts, the Supreme Court has made the decision on it, and we've moved away from that presidential election. So there is the question of the Electoral Act now. And as a senator, do you think that it still needs tinkering? And this is to represent properly what you think are the aspirations of Nigerians when it comes to a proper, credible, free, fair general election.
My view is simple. it's not the act. It is the operators of the system that are the people. So it does not matter how much we tinker with it. So long as somebody is prepared to do the wrong thing, they will do it. And so it has to do with the orientation of the person. And that's why I said, if we can remove the human element, if we can now use technology, if we can now come to the point where I can use my phone and get a code and vote, and nobody touches it, and that vote is tallied somewhere, then we won't have all these problems anymore. But so long as there's somebody who's going to stay there to decide whether it's going to go in or not, that person can be compromised, and that will mean that we cannot have this. And then every time we will now say, okay, tinker with the system. We did a lot in the 2023 Act. We did everything. We made sure that we could use technology to get us to the point where we are. We never knew that somebody could tamper with the Inec system, as it were.
Okay, would we be looking at going fully electronic? Because to take out the human element will mean going completely electronic, both for voting and transmission of the results.
Precisely. That's exactly what I mean. Once it's completely electronic, there's no way again anyone can manipulate it. That's all.
So guys, Tinubu just changed his stance after saying that he knows Nigerians did not vote for him. Now he's saying that Nigerians massively voted for him. He said this during his New Year address for 2024. Just listen to this.
It was a year you, the gracious people of this blessed nation, entrusted your faith in me with a clear mandate to make our country better, to revamp our economy, restore our security within our borders, refertilize our floundering industrial sector, boost agricultural production, increase national productivity, and set our country on an irreversible path towards national progress that we and future generation will forever be proud of.
That opens up another topic for discussion on the Inec chairman. Why are Nigerians not demanding for the resignation of the Inec chairman? Why should we allow him to keep sitting on that seat? Nigerians, do you think having Mahmood as the Inec chairman, we won't have a repeat of all that happened during the last election? I mean the presidential election.
What legacy would you say Inec, is leaving Nigerians, from this general elections and, off-cycle elections we had in 2023?
I think I've said this even from 2019. INEC cannot deliver anything now because it has legitimacy crisis. The first thing that should have been done is for Professor Mahmoud Yakubu to go. I mean, in climes where honor means anything, even if you feel that you've done your best, to the extent that international and local observers have condemned, heavily criticized the conduct of the election, the best thing you should do is to step aside. His life doesn't need to depend on it. You step aside for the sake of the integrity of that institution. And for as long as it remains, I don't think anybody will believe that they will get anything from INEC. And it was also a mistake on the part of the government when they said, I can understand why they said it, that INEC has conducted the best election. I think they were trying to say it in the context of trying to legitimize their declaration as president-elect. But the consequence is that it doesn't give you room to say we are going to embark on further electoral reform, because you said they did a perfect job.
Well, INEC is not the only one caught up in all this mess. The judiciary is another one big hurdle we all should be able to overcome should we really want to see a new Nigeria. Listen to what this lawyer got to say.
If we keep the trajectory that we're on right now, there will be a citizens' revolt. against the judiciary. And when that happens, it would have to be a radical sweep. But we can't keep on the way we are going, where citizens are losing confidence in the judiciary. In those days, if someone offended you, you would say, I'll go to court. These days, if somebody offends you, he says to you, go to court. And you know what that means. It means that he doesn't think that the courts would give you justice.
Nigeria's election year has come and gone, but will remain a watershed in the country's political history. The presidential election will be remembered as perhaps the most keenly contested in the country's recent history. Considering the vote difference among the top three parties, the All Progressives Congress APC, the People's Democratic Party PDP, and the Labour Party LP. The All Progressives Congress retained power at the centre, with the emergence of Senator Bola Tinubu as winner of the presidential election. But his victory was challenged majorly by the PDP and the Labour Party, all the way to the Supreme Court, which affirmed the election of Bola Tinubu.
To avert any form of confusion.
The Independent National Electoral Commission was largely criticized for the failure of the IRF portal, specifically for the presidential election. Chairman of the Commission, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, admitted that the Commission experienced glitches in transmitting results through the IRF during the presidential election.
While voter accreditation using the bimodal voter accreditation system was very successful, the uploading of results to the Inec result viewing portal, the IREV, especially for the presidential election, encountered a glitch as explained in our statement on the 26th of February 2023.
The European Union Election Observation Mission in June released a report which described the elections as ensuring real-time publication and access to election results as a product of a poorly done desk job that relied heavily on few persons and attempting to ridicule the Nigerian electoral system and the electoral umpire. Following the governorship elections, attentions have also turned to the courts. Just like the presidential election, the Court of Appeal has sacked Governors Caleb Mutfwang of Plateau State and Abba Yusuf of Kano State, while declaring the Zamfara state election inconclusive and ordering Inec to hold new elections in 2 local governments. The Court of Appeals sitting in Abuja also reserved judgment on the appeal by Governor Abdullahi Sule after a tribunal ruling nullified his re-election. Meanwhile, Nigerian politics experienced a new twist as the Labour Party, with its new leader Mr. Peter Obi, who was also the presidential candidate of the party, pulled some surprises across the country, winning the governorship election in Abia State and unseating many lawmakers at the federal and state levels. This was also partly responsible for the large turnover of lawmakers at the National Assembly. That is almost 70% of new senators and members of the House of Representatives.
So guys, from the look of things, we can see that we have a lot of work to do as a people to stop all these selfish politicians who use INEC and the judiciary to achieve their goal. The Republic of Congo just conducted an election, and in that occasion, an official of the electoral body was abused because the people perceived she wanted to change figures. I mean, African youths don't want all this mess again. We want a change, and we are asking for a change. So INEC should be blamed for the economic woes Nigerians are going through. The same thing goes to the judiciary. They should be blamed for what Nigerians are going through, because it is through them that Tinubu was made the president of Nigeria, even though he knows that most Nigerians did not vote for him.
President Bola Tinubu's bloated cabinet was not overlooked, as many criticized his decision to increase the number of ministers to a record 48, despite the country's economic woes and calls for a cut in the cost of governance. The presidency also came under heavy criticism for attending the COP28 in Dubai with 1,411 delegates, even though the government had explained that it only sponsored 422 of the number. To wrap up the election year, the Independent National Electoral Commission on the 11th of November successfully conducted off-cycle elections in Kogi, Imo and Bayelsa states, and is gearing up for the Edo and Ondo elections in 2024. This was a litmus test for the Commission to see what improvements will be made to the general elections.
It is possible, it's important to amend the Electoral Act on one hand to make sure that procurement is taken away from Inec, so that they can focus on technical job. We'll have minting and printing, or we put it in the hands of a sort of an independent committee that can look at it. And this is important because as long as there is struggle to manage the billions of funds being allocated to INEC in terms of printing, beaver procuring, beavers printing, ballot papers and what have you, we will continue to have this sort of issues. If next year off-cycle election is going to work, INEC has to start confidence building that is practical and pragmatic from this year, so that the voter register there, we have to get it right and clean it up, ensure that people are able to get their voters card on time.
Nigerians should start making demands for INEC chairman to resign, because we can't have him conduct all these elections, even that of 2027. Possibly this government will still want the INEC chairman to be the one to spearhead the upcoming elections. But I think it is right time for the INEC chairman to resign.
Nigerians look towards an improved electoral system in 2024 as the National Assembly commences amendments to the Electoral Act, even though there are concerns about the credibility of the Electoral Commission following the appointment and confirmation of some resident electoral commissioners affiliated to political parties. Victoria Longchan for Channels Television News.
Indeed, 2023, the year that's about to go in a few hours, has been one of those years that's been turbulent, especially in the political space. We saw the emergence of new government at both the state and federal level. But what's the plan? What's going forward in 2024? Vis-a-vis across the country, Rivers State, Ondo State, and all the other states. Yes, some states are going to have elections this year. That's 2024, Edo, and I think Ondo State also. But let's look at this. We have here in the Abuja studio, we have Professor Abaribe, who's a professor of political science at the Nasarawa State University. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much.
And joining us virtually is Senator Inec Abaribe, who's representing the All Progressives Grand Alliance, Abia South. He joins us virtually. Senator, thank you for joining us. All right, I'm sure that we'll get him on real soon. Let's start out with you, Professor Abaribe. 2024 is around the corner. 2023 is done and dusted, almost. But this year saw a keenly contested election, bringing in a new government and a new, some would say, the birth of a new political system. Do you agree with that?
Well, I'm not sure what you mean by the...
No, not me. Some will say, this is the first time Nigeria has a thoroughbred politician as president.
Well, again, I'm not sure I understand what you mean by, because he's an accountant, at least as far as we know, and a businessman. A title is a title. You're right. It was keenly contested. It also shows a number of shortcomings in the system, and that we still have a long way to go in our journey to nationhood. And we've seen also what I call the politicians coming in various forms of messianic packaging. And almost 8 months after, we're also having to ask ourselves, so what? It's one thing to people were already complaining about the Buhari government and the hardship that, people believed, we had been experienced, the nepotism, the, nativism, and we were looking forward to something better. Then we have to sit back later and isolate a number of metrics, take each metric at a time and say, on this metric, is this government better than what we had?
Some argue that it might be too soon, just, almost 8 months. Isn't that too soon?
Are you trying to tell me that 8 months is not sufficiently long for you to be able to decipher a direction on some fronts? I mean, people can make that argument. I'm not saying, after all, people start to judge government after 100 days. By 100 days in office, the whole essence is that it's giving you enough time for you to lay down.
Nigerians, it is time for us to demand that the INEC chairman be sacked. I mean, let him resign or be sacked. We don't want his person to be the one to handle elections anymore in Nigeria, because he has this credibility question marks around him. Can we trust the INEC chairman? Can we even trust INEC as a body? Can we trust our judiciary? Can we even trust the security agents? Nigerians, we've got a whole lot of cleanup to do, and that is why we must start lending our voices, demanding that INEC chairman be sacked. Let me know what you think about this in the comment section below. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, give this video a like so that YouTube can recommend it to more people, and let me know what you think in the comment section below. Thank you.